What's going on, car nerds? Welcome back to the Fuel for Thought podcast. We are on episode 21 this week, and we've got an awesome two-part series for you guys. Kevin, do you want to tell them what's about?
Yes, I went full on the spectrum mode on this script. It's in regards to the Sultan of Brunei's collection.
If you guys don't know what this is, it's pretty ridiculous. We kind of talked off camera a couple minutes ago, and just learning about all this stuff is pretty crazy. So you guys want to buckle in and get ready for this one, because it's about to be a good one. Do you want to kick us off, Kevin? What's first?
Yes. So this is going to be an epic episode. We're looking at, first of all, what is Brunei? Because before I heard of this collection, I didn't even know this was a country or anything like that. And then we're going to dive into the car collection, which is
our favorite part, of course, and
yes,
hopefully yours too.
Yes, and I think by far the most insane car collection. It's hard to wrap your brain. You think about people in Saudi Arabia with 20 hypercars in their collection and stuff, or maybe 50. It's holy. This is next level.
And even the guy in Canada that we know, Dav Cars, is that the guy?
Yeah.
In Montreal, he's completely dwarfed by this collection.
Oh yeah.
And even his collection's massive, so it's hard to even put into words.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's jump in. First of all, what's Brunei and where is it located? Because a lot of people, including me, didn't even know where it was.
Yeah. So Brunei is actually a really, really small country. It's in the South China Sea near the Philippines. So it's Asian territory. And it was, for the longest time, it was dependent or held by the UK government. And
yeah, so it was a colonist kind of country. Okay.
Exactly. And then they gained their independence in 1984. And they really, at the start, they didn't really have anything going for them. They weren't really exporting anything. It wasn't really a rich country. That's probably why they gained their independence, because the UK government was I don't need you guys anymore.
No value here. Let's put it on the market.
Yeah, but then in the about 1990s, they discovered a huge deposit of natural gas and oil. So they just became an export for all the Asian territories around them, and just started exporting all the oil. So that's how they built their GDP to be so strong and so resilient. Yeah. And this was it's pretty fascinating hearing this story, because this was a very quick turnaround. They gained their independence 6 years later. They exporting an insane amount of oil, and that grew their GDP by 56%.
Holy shit.
In 6 years. That's impressive.
Wow. And to put that in perspective, the typical growth of an economy is about 3 to 4% per year, in good years. And obviously during COVID, it was a lot worse. So, even if you break that down, that's almost, more than 5% per year, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
So, it's a massive growth time. So, and then especially right after independence, that's kind of shitty for the UK. It's a fat L for them, but
wasn't their country to begin with.
Exactly, yeah.
But yeah, that huge increase meant a lot of money for the royals, because this is a dictatorship.
Yeah.
So
they have a royal family. Do they have a kingdom, kind of same as like the Netherlands or the UK?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think their religion is primarily Muslim.
Okay. Yeah.
And the royal
mosques and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And the royal family is essentially the owner of the country.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, that meant insane amount of wealth. And when we think about rich people, let's say we'll think about Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos. It's easy to evaluate their wealth, because we can look at their stock market, the amount of shares they own, and then
all their assets, right? Their houses, cars, whatever.
Exactly. So we can, say, oh, he's worth 400 million or 400 billion or whatever. But when you own an entire country,
gets shady.
Exactly. It's insane amount of wealth, trillions probably.
Yeah.
Because not only what you're producing right now, but also in the future, what you're going to produce and all that. So that's how these guys got so rich so quickly. And as a side hustle, or I guess a side hobby, they decided to start collecting cars.
It's wild. Crazy what corruption can do, eh?
Yeah. It's
sorry, continue what you were saying.
The country itself isn't that bad. Looking at the lifestyle and the general population, they're not super wealthy, but it's not poverty, people are dying of hunger. It's not like some African countries where the the monarchs or whatever, like super rich,
Yeah.
living well, and then the entire country is just like dead.
Okay, it's a bit of a better like spread out and like distribution of wealth at least.
Yeah, like most of the population had a good lifestyle and was happy with what they had.
Okay, yeah, that's definitely better, especially like you see that a lot with oil, especially like even like places like Saudi Arabia. It's a bit better, but there's just such a disparity in like wealth of like, you know, the ultra wealthy and then like the poor middle class. So interesting. Okay. And then, yeah, do you want to give the audience a scope of how big this collection is?
So this
wasn't just a normal hobby, you guys. Like, this is like steroids on steroids. Like, it was insane. Okay, you go ahead.
So the Sultan of Brunei has arguably the best collection. It is so massive you can't comprehend. We're talking about, it's hard to get an exact number, but between 2,500 and 7,000 cars in his ownership. And this isn't just like Honda Civics and all. It's like Ferraris, Lambos, one-off cars. And it's rumored to be like over $5 billion of cars.
That's ridiculous. Like,
yeah.
Again, it's any other car collector is just dwarfed by this guy. Like, even like Jay Leno or like, like Dav cars, like, it doesn't even come close. Like, everyone always thinks in terms of like the Western world, you know, big collections. But this is just like unheard of. And like, this guy's pretty much, you know, he doesn't even come on the map, and like you have to really dig to find out.
Yeah, so that's kind of why it broke the internet a couple years ago when this was released, because nobody knew about this. Like, first of all, nobody knew about Brunei, and a lot of manufacturers kept this hidden. So he has a lot of power, obviously. He runs a country. Yeah. So he would go to Ferrari or Bentley and order these custom one-off cars. And Ferrari didn't acknowledge these cars until 5 years ago.
Really?
So we didn't even know, the public didn't know these existed. They were secret one-off projects sent there and never seen ever again.
Wow. So Ferrari was like kind of in on it and they didn't release it to the public, or?
I guess in a way they didn't see the point, because this was one-off. Like, they built, we'll get into that in the next episode, but they built, let's say, 7 examples. And then would ship it all to him because he bought all of them. And then, you know, in their eyes, it's like, okay, well, only he knows about it. We're not going to tell the world.
Yeah.
Because some of them are questionable. I will say that. They're not the best design cars, but, you know.
Value. It's all about value.
Exactly.
He doesn't have them to look nice. That's pretty obvious. But yeah, so when we're talking about, you know, this guy, quote unquote, who are we talking about exactly? Is it like a whole family, or is it one guy?
So the ruler and I guess prime minister of this country is called Hassanal Bolkiah. I butchered it for sure, but it sounds like a funny name.
Just the word anal in it. That's all we know. Yeah. Hassanal
Bolkiah, maybe.
Yeah. Correct us if you're from Brunei. I have no idea. Comment if you're from Brunei, actually. I'm curious. You know, we don't have that many followers yet, but hey, you never know. Someone might be from Brunei.
A small population, so I really doubt it.
That'd be pretty cool, though.
Yeah.
Even if you're watching this a couple of years down the line, let us know. But yeah, that's interesting name, first of all. I don't know how to pronounce it, but yeah, 29th ruler of the country, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think he's stepped down since this.
Yeah, wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah. Well, I think he's just old and probably passed it on to his son or something. I haven't
wanted to collect cars on a full-time basis.
Yeah, exactly. But the crazy part is, like, there's so many cars. Obviously, he needs giant warehouses to store these. Yeah. And I tried like looking on the map itself because it's a pretty small country. I was like, oh, I can probably find a bunch of warehouses, but I wasn't able to. But the thing, like, that's crazy to me is he's like color coordinating these warehouses. So you have a warehouse full of yellow cars and then another one full of red cars. And then he also does by manufacturer. So he'll have a whole warehouse of just Jaguars.
Jesus Christ.
And like, that's such a weird thing. Like, why even have that many cars?
It's like, especially like some of the ones we were talking about, like what about the Jaguars like you were telling me about earlier?
Yeah, so I don't know why, but he decided to have about 40 Jaguar SK. Like, they're all the same, just different colors.
It's so unnecessary. Like 40 of the same car, all different colors or same color?
They're all different, but
Okay.
a lot of them are like black, so maybe like 20 are in black, and then the rest are, but like just white.
Hoarding pretty much. Like it's a hoarder
Yeah.
of cars.
Exactly. Like they're not. First of all, I'm not going to go up in price because it's a Jaguar, and nobody really cared about that
Yeah.
version. If it was the R, maybe. And then like, what's the point? Like, you want to drive a new car every day for a month?
The same car, but just slightly different.
Yeah.
Is he maybe trying to see if they're hand built or not, to see if there's slight differences? I don't know.
Potentially. Yeah.
Who knows?
But if, like, it hasn't been proved, but if he would, let's say, allow the Guinness World Record in his collection, he would definitely win for the most collected Rolls Royce, because apparently he has 500, 400 Ferraris, so another record, 300 Bentleys.
It's actually ridiculous.
And then the insane part is the McLaren F1, we all know, is like a high valuable car.
Yeah.
And highly cherished, very limited numbers. He's probably close to a third, maybe close to half of all the McLaren F1s in his collection.
That's insane.
So yeah, that's insane. We'll include pictures because this is just hard to understand.
Wonder if there's going to come a point where he's just going to collect so many of the same car that he'll have the entire population of that car. Like maybe he's like on a mission with the XK to just, I mean, XK was mass produced, but if you take something a little bit more rare, I don't know, like Bugattis or McLarens or something like that, maybe eventually he'll buy them all up, and then there won't be any.
Well, in a way he has that, because all the one-off cars,
That's true.
Except for 2 models, he's the sole owner of all of them.
It's crazy.
So that's something that's interesting, because like, how do you value that? It's never hit the market.
No, exactly.
What if, like, eventually, I'm sure this is either they're too far gone and never going to see the light of day, or they're going to go for auction. But it would be cool to see like how much it would fetch.
That'd be pretty crazy to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of these are going to need to be restored too, because they've just been, like, all the parts are going to be seized, and like we'll get into the next episode, but just like the condition of the cars and stuff, it's just it's terrible.
Yeah, it's kind of sad, honestly. But
Yeah.
we've seen there's a couple pages on Instagram tracking these. So the a couple of the cars would go from this island, or I guess this country, into the UK for like refurbishing and stuff. We've seen a couple of McLarens go from there into UK to get like serviced and stuff. So that's a good sign that the F1s are at least making it out of there.
Okay, that's good.
A couple of Paganis and Bugattis have left the island too, to go like get maintenance and stuff. So at least those are in good condition. But I would be like, I would bet that half the collection is neglected.
It's crazy. Yeah, I mean, how do you even look after that many cars? You need like a whole like cohort of people helping you. Like you can't do that yourself, or even with a team. It's almost impossible.
And these are not going to be like Lamborghini or Ferrari trained mechanics.
Exactly. Yeah, and like even just something as simple as an oil change. Like, you know, if you, first of all, he's not driving them all, but if he was, like, oil changing 2,500 cars, it's at least once a year you have to do it. It's wild. You have to do like, what, 5 a day? Pretty much.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And also another fact is this island is very hot and very humid.
Oh, that's, yeah.
So
that's
everything's going to like mold, and
oh, shit.
I don't know if it would rust necessarily, because I guess it's close to the sea, so potentially it could rust.
It's potentially, yeah.
But yeah, it's just, these cars are going to end up like disgusting, and it doesn't really make sense to own that volume.
Yeah, it's a bit interesting. I'm curious if there's like an underlying reason. Like obviously we can't speak with him. Hey, maybe we can get him on the show. I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
that would be pretty awesome if someone can hook us up and has good connections. Hey, as long as he knows English. I mean,
I don't know if he does.
We'll see. We could always learn his language. It's worth it. But yeah, I'm. It's just so weird. Like I've never heard of such an extensive collection.
Yeah, and that's why, like I was saying, it's hard to wrap your brain around.
Yeah. Like, is it just like a flex, or is it?
Well, he's not flexing.
That's what I mean.
Nobody knows about it.
Yeah, like he doesn't even post it anywhere or anything. Like, it almost looks like he's just trying to have like control of the car market, almost like more power, kind of.
You see, if he did, he would be like eventually selling these. But he's had these cars for 20, 30 years, and
That's true.
Rarely, very, very rarely sells them.
Yeah, I'm curious if like he's just trying to build up some level of demand so that prices go up or something. Like, yeah, it's
Could be.
very odd. Or maybe there is just no reason. Maybe he just likes cars.
A theory is he wanted to kind of hold assets that would go up because he probably knew they would run out of oil or, natural exports at some point. So he saw an opportunity to, instead of buying arts or whatever, he would buy very limited rare cars and use that to kind of hold assets. He could have invested overseas, like buy real estate or stock market, but I guess he chose cars as an asset. It kind of makes sense, but then if you're not maintaining them, they're not going to sell.
That's the thing. But again, there's a lot of manipulation that can happen here because, like you've mentioned, right, he almost owns half the stock of F1s. So really here he's determining his own fate. The more F1s he buys, the more rare they become, the higher like his investment value, given he takes care of them, goes up. So it's almost like a monopoly, really. He can kind of choose the prices that he can sell them at eventually if people are looking to buy them. So that could be another reason. Maybe he's just trying to, then again, he also has a lot of not limited edition cars like we mentioned.
Yeah, it's interesting, and nobody has contact with this guy. That's the thing, like, it's so excluded from the world.
Exactly.
That it's like a cool mystery. It's one of those things like people indulge in, and that's why I found it so fascinating. Like it's
like a treasure hunt kind of thing, like the pirates and everything. It's
exactly.
the same idea. We struck gold with this collection, I guess. But honestly, if you think about it, though, if nobody in the late 90s or early 2000s got into that warehouse or whatever, or saw these cars, no one would know about it.
No.
It would still be a secret.
Literally. Because there is people spotting cars, like he'll drive it around the city and stuff once in a while, but a lot of these cars never leave.
Yeah, and then you just see one car, right?
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, cool, there's a nice car, but you'll never think about that it's his car and that it's part of this massive collection.
Yeah, so it's pretty crazy to think. Let's look into, first of all, what he owns. Just
some of the coolest ones. Definitely. Let's talk about that next.
So we talked a lot about the McLaren F1. So there's, I think it's like 106 total F1s built, including, we're just going to look at the like limited editions. I guess it's already limited, but more limited.
Yeah.
So the notorious F1 LM, which is the orange with like the big rear spoiler.
That's my favorite.
Yeah, 100%. Like by far everyone's favorite.
Yeah.
He owns 3 of them. So there's only 6 built. One was for McLaren, like they kept it as a like a show car, I guess, and it's in their museum. And then he owns 3 of them, so that means 2 are in private collection. And as we mentioned, one of them made it to Monterey this year.
It's crazy.
But like he owns half of the LMs.
It's ridiculous. How much do those fetch roughly, do you know?
Oh geez, like a normal F1 recently sold at auction for like 20 million.
That much?
Yeah.
Holy shit. Okay.
And this was not like,
I thought they were like maybe 1 million, 2 million max.
No, these are,
holy, okay.
They're not the most expensive car because that's the 250 GTO.
Right. But it's up there for sure.
Yeah, well, an LM could potentially fetch that. I feel like right now it's insane. So he owns 3 of those. The F1 GT, which is the kind of funky looking, it's based on the, I guess, like a long tail race car, so it's like very long and thin. I don't think it looks that good, but
yeah,
it was
not my favorite.
Yeah, it was kind of an homage to like long tail editions. This one only has 3 in the world, so it's limited to 3, and he owns 1, maybe more. And this one was the one I was talking about that's been serviced, sent to the UK in service. So that's good news that it's being taken care of.
Okay, yeah, that's promising. One of 3 cars should probably be taken care of.
Yeah, and another one, the F1 GTR, which was the race version, not street legal.
Yeah,
he owns, like, from the pictures I've seen, 3 or 4 of them.
How many of those are made roughly? Do you know?
I think it's like 10 or 15 of them or something. A bit more.
Okay.
Yeah, and they were like generally used for racing, and then apparently he like approached the racing teams once they retired the cars and just bought it from them.
Damn, that's crazy.
So that's like a good stock, like at least probably 20 or more F1s just with the normal ones, and then the limited
Yeah.
editions, which is crazy.
You just picture those lined up, like how insane that would look.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing like $20 million cars just lined end to end. It's like,
Yeah, and if you think about it, like that, just alone the F1s is like $250,000, maybe $500,000 in a collection, which
you mean
beats.
billion.
I don't know about billion, but
Oh wait, no, you mean total or?
no, just the McLaren F1s. Like
Yeah,
his total stock, like 10 to 20 F1s.
yeah.
If he sold all those, that would be, because like let's say they're 40 million a piece or something.
Yeah, it's almost $500 million.
Is it?
Yeah, because it's like 40 million times whatever, 10, that's 400 million. Dude, that's insane.
Yeah.
It's almost $500 million.
Jesus. Okay. Wow.
That's messed up.
Yeah. So just those cars alone beats any other car collector in the world.
That's like bigger than most, like any car collection, $500 million.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's insane, man.
So then, other cars, he's got CLK GTR.
I love these things.
Yeah.
So sick.
So of course he has that.
Yeah.
He has the Koenigsegg CCXR.
Also a beauty.
Yeah, and those were actually I didn't know, but there's only 9 of them in existence.
Really?
Yeah. So the CCX there was
That's when I was
20
thinking of.
something.
Yeah.
The CCXR was like the more refined, more race. I guess the R stands for race version, and only 9 were
That's
ever
insane.
built.
And he owns one of them?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
He's got at least minimum 6 XJ220, which is.
Is that one also limited number or no?
Yeah. I don't know the exact number, but
It's more though, right?
Yeah, it's like a couple hundreds.
Okay, yeah, we saw one
Yeah.
at a car show here in Toronto.
So the one we saw though was modified by
Yellow, right?
PwC. Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is only one of like 6 in the world that we saw.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Okay, wow.
And then it is rumored that he has a 250 GTO, which is
Wouldn't surprise me, honestly.
currently the most expensive car in the world.
Is there only a couple of those too?
Yeah, I don't know the exact numbers,
Yeah,
but it's
same.
I think below 10 or something.
Yeah.
And then he's got more modern cars, which like he drives around all the time. He's got Pagani Huayra, LaFerrari, G-Wagon, and
He probably owns like 600 G-Wagons.
probably, yeah. I should hit him up and try to get one.
Like half his collection, yeah. He's just trying to piss you off.
Yeah. And one of them, which I found interesting, was a salmon-colored 458 Speciale.
Do they even make them? Is that wrapped or something? Or like a special paint job from Ferrari?
So that's the thing. Ferrari banned anyone from buying pink cars, like pink painted cars from them.
So he has like special privileges.
Maybe, yeah, because it's like this looked genuine paint, like genuine paint.
That's crazy. He probably has some shady shit going on with Ferrari too. Like maybe he just like sponsors them financially or something, or like
Yeah.
you never know. Like it's crazy.
He's got powerful relationships for sure. Because we'll get in the next episode, we'll get into like what cars he built, but he's got a lot of one-off Ferraris.
It's crazy.
Like we've never seen before, and just built specifically for him.
That's nuts.
So yeah, that's just insane. Just those cars alone is just like, what the hell? Why?
Yeah, it's just such a massive collection. Like, can you imagine being him though and being like, I have to go to the grocery store. Like, how do you even decide what the hell you want to take?
Well, first of all, he has someone go get the groceries and make food,
But just in theory, say if he wants to drive somewhere, or like he has like a meeting, and I guess someone would drive him. But if he wants to go for a joyride, how does he decide? Does he have like a hat with a bunch of car names in it, and he picks one, or?
Well, probably half his collection is undrivable.
Exactly.
So he's probably like, oh well.
Only 1,250 or something to choose from.
Yeah, it's a weird thing to, I don't know, just never use these cars.
Yeah, I can't even imagine that. It's like, if you own cars, you just imagine driving them, like swapping either between them or like...
Yeah.
But even to me, like 10 cars is too many, Like I wouldn't be able to use 10.
I guess his family uses his cars, and I guess the people around him and stuff. But
and the whole freaking country of Brunei could use it.
Yeah, at that point, like, if he really wanted to, maybe that's what he was doing. He's trying to gift a Ferrari to every single.
I really doubt that, but hey, that would be nice, honestly. Maybe we should become citizens of Brunei before that happens.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's just a look into some of the extent of his collection.
That's insane. It's huge.
Yeah. And then Yeah, there's going to be a link that
Yeah,
we're
we'll
going
put
to
in the
share.
description and then the show notes.
Yeah, and this is a site I've used before. It's called Exclusive Registry, Car Registry, and essentially it's just people, kind of nerds like us,
Yeah.
who want to keep track and know what's in their collection or what numbered cars are out there, and they're actually tracking this family's car collection, and
pretty sweet.
they have found like about 200 cars that like in his collection that are confirmed, some with VIN numbers. So pretty
Yeah.
cool to go through it and see like, you know, some of the pictures, and a lot of them are from old times because we haven't
Right.
seen like recent.
It's perfect
Activity.
perfect information to plan a heist.
Yeah, I mean, we're not condemning it, but if
Hey,
you can
we won't
find
say
a
no.
way to, you know, get those cars out of that country.
Yeah, give us a call. We'll join your heist.
Yeah, I'll join it if it's onshore and in safe hands without like mobs,
Yeah,
trying to kill you.
I'd be down for that for sure. Well, as you guys know, this is part 1, so we'll leave some excitement for part 2. What can people expect from part 2? It's going to be pretty crazy.
Yes. So part 1 was just the normal cars we know about. Part 2 is cars we've never seen before.
Ooh, okay, so this is like
One-offs.
one-off concept cars that never saw the light of day, right?
Were never even announced. So some of these cars were built specifically for him. No photographs ever surfaced. The manufacturers never even acknowledged their existence.
It's insane.
And yeah, now they're coming to surface, but still a lot of people never knew about these cars.
It's crazy. All right, guys, it's something to look forward to. So next week will be a crazy episode. So stay tuned for that. That'll be episode 22 coming out next week. Thank you guys for watching. Anything you want to add?
That's it.
Perfect. All right, see you guys next week for part 2.
Goodbye.
Peace.